Hi, I'm Dr. Chris Parker, and in this video, we're going to talk about evaluating accessibility issues on websites. In the previous video, we looked at what are common accessibility issues, what are common disabilities, what is WCAG 2.1, and how is accessibility and usability different. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I highly recommend you go back and watch that video, because it's going to make everything make a whole load more sense. So in this video, we're going to cover methods of evaluating accessibility, the issues that we mentioned in the last video. We're going to give examples of evaluation, which is links cars. So by the end of this session, you're going to have a much better understanding of what we do as designers to capture these issues. Now, there's methods of evaluation, which is a very vast topic. So a slight warning, we're not going to be able to assess all elements of accessibility. Some assessments need the reviewer to investigate the website's coding, and we're not going to go down that route. And then some assessments need live testing, need somebody sitting in the chair using your website or product. So what do we do? Now, WCAG 2.1 has 3 levels of requirements, so A, AA, and AAA. A is the simple requirement. So when you're making your first prototype, even the high fidelity prototype, A is completely fine. When you get into beta testing, which is your first version, you're really getting a lot of feedback because we're honing in the final area. That's when AA comes in. And when you're launching your product, AAA comes in. As you might guess, the most impactful accessibility issues are dealt with in A, and it kind of scales up from then, where AAA is all about the deep coding of your website. Now, you want to think about this in this way. This is our double diamond. This is how design thinking works, starting with understanding problems, problem research, insight themes, iteration, prototypes, etc. You start thinking about accessibility at the time you're building your first prototype. Not your sort of lo-fi wireframe, not your paper prototype, but when you're actually onto Sketch and XD, get your thoughts about accessibility and A rating on at that point. And then quickly move on in your next iterations into the AA scheme. So you'll spend a lot of time at that kind of second level WCAG 2.1. And then finally, when you're at launch, then you're going the full way. Now, I would recommend everyone from the first prototype follow WCAG 2.1A. Just do it. Do as much of AA as you really can, as early as you can, because it will make it easier to work later on. An example of this is contrast and colors. If you've got contrast working great early on, and the color scheme works really well with all kinds of color blindness, no problem. But if you wait until the very end, when you've already decided on your color scheme and decided on your logos and your aesthetic and your pictures, and then it turns out that those 2 colors that you want to use don't work, you're going to have a lot of trouble fixing that. So that's why early on is always better. So there's manual methods of evaluation and there's tools we can use. So I'm going to start with the manual methods. As I said before, we've got 3 levels of WCAG, A, AA, and AAA. This website here, which is WUHCAG.com. If you look at them, they'll give you a whole load of things. So what do you have to do to complete A? And it's pretty much a very self-explanatory system where you just go through everything on the list for whatever level you're at. So I'm going to assume beginner A, and go, well, am I doing this? Am I not doing it? So am I providing text alternative? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, carry on, you're doing good. If the answer is no, well, you better put some in. am I providing an alternative to video only and audio only content? Well, if the answer is yes, happy days. If the answer is no, I better start doing that, such as transcripts. Now, I could go on with this all those ways, but that's pretty much what this is. And I really recommend you do look at the website WUHCAG.com to get the full list. Another thing you can do, which is manually, is check the keyboard accessibility settings. Now, this is a quick guide provided by webam.org. And if you follow this, you'll be able to navigate in a very similar way that somebody with a disability might. Someone who can't use a mouse, for example. So you will find it harder. The first time you use it, you'll find it quite difficult. And somebody who uses these keyboard navigations all the time will find it much easier because they practice. So bear that in mind when you're assessing this. But just go to accessibility options in your browser, and you'll be able to press Tab to move around, press Shift to move back, press Enter to access the link. Spacebar is the checkbox, your arrows, navigate radio buttons, etc. You're looking, so can you do all of those things? If you can't, then think about, well, what am I putting on the page that when I press Tab, I'm going to instead? Can I remove that? And just make all the content important. So, but minimalism is always good. The other thing you're looking for are mouse-only interactions. So when you're asking somebody to roll over something, that's a mouse interaction. That can cause problems if you can't use a mouse for whatever reason that is. If you got links to skip content, so you got content which is optional. Can I just get over that and get to the bit I really like? Can I jump from the top of the page right down to the form without reading all these bits? So it's getting to the bit I want to get to faster. If I've got a long page of information, do I have content at the top so I can quickly get to where I want to? And if you're wondering why websites have those, that's the reason why. If you've got dialogues and pop-ups, can I close them? Can I navigate them easily? Or are they very difficult to get rid of with a keyboard? So you want to have your programmers design your website so escape button just gets rid of it. Another thing to think about is your scrolling content. So if I was to zoom into the website, then does my page reformat around? Can I see things clearly? If I zoom out to make it smaller, is it still okay? Reset to 0 and have a look around. Change the pixels to 1200 wide and zoom 400%. Can I still use website? These are really important tools because people who have sight issues regularly do this. And if you don't do it yet, there's a good chance when you're older you will. So it's very important that your website works and is responsive in this way. Now we're going to see these kind of evaluations very soon when we look at Lingus cars. So if you're having trouble working out how this looks like, don't worry, we're going to be there very shortly. Now, manual stuff is great, but you're probably going to want to have some tools to help you out. So I'm going to show you a few navigation tools which I use in my assessments, and they really help work. It makes accessibility evaluation almost too easy. The first is Wave. That's Website Accessibility Evaluation Tool. It's a suite of evaluation tools that help designers make the web content more accessible. I'm going to focus on the main content, but it really is worth your time looking at wave.webam.org. Have a look around, download the plugins, and get comfy with it. Because, as I said in the last video, you're going to have a large portion of your users are going to have disabilities, and you want your website and app to work well with them. So let's have a look what happens with Wave. This is just a screen grab. I put in a very simple website. There's not that much on it to be trapped. And we've got 14 errors already. We've got 28 contrast issues. We've got 10 alerts of things not working. We've got problems even on such a simple website. So we can see that there's color contrast areas. And in a very short time, we're going to go through the example and you're going to see me working through just that. Other tool is accessibility-colors.com. And you can just tap in your colors and say, hey, this is what my background is, what my foreground is. What level do I meet? Do I meet A? Do I meet AA, etc.? So here's a quite simple one. You see that it might be AA compliant, but I need to tweak my colors. And this is a great site because you can just modify the weight and text size and hex codes and work out what it should be to pass. So it really helps walk you through. The other one is color contrast. So webam.org, once again, /resources/contrast checker. It does a very similar job to the previous website. It's a little more easy to use. You've got sliders, a little bit more visual, and you can really take your pick of what tool you like. I really like this one because it really is fantastic and easy to use. So I'm now going to go on to linkscars.com and I'm going to talk you through some just basic evaluation which I'm doing, and you'll see what I found. So let's jump over to the website now. And here we are on my favorite website on the internet, linkscars.com. It's my favorite for two reasons. First, they are a very successful company, so all credit for them. Well done. They're doing something really well. And also, they fly in the face of everything we know about design, everything we talk about accessibility and usability, and in some ways, I find it really, really hard to look at. So I'm using the Firefox browser for this for the simple reason of I prefer it to Safari on my Mac, and I won't use Chrome because I don't want my data going all the way to Google all the time. But it doesn't really matter what browser you use. So I have cheated a bit with this. I've already gone ahead and done a full evaluation of the website. So I'm going to be jumping between these two websites as we go, picking out the things that are not very good from a manual point of view. Then after that, we're going to jump on to Wave Accessibility, and we're going to see what this tool can do. Between all this, you're going to get a good view of how to evaluate accessibility quickly and easily. So firstly, what's this page about? Now, I don't know if I can get this to make a sound straight away. Normally, when you go to the website, this plays automatically. That's incredibly annoying. Can you hear it?
Piccadilly Circus, a 1-acre site of 6 intersecting main roads in the centre of London.
And you're thinking, what's this about? And there we go. I'm just going to stop you there rather than just save you from the pain of watching that all the time. You might like it, you might not, but there it is. So first thing is that video at the top, it doesn't have a text alternative. It has no alternative audio content really, it's just that. I guess you could call audio only if you're listening to it, but it really is video. It has no captions. There's no secondary alternative to the homepage video. And the video really is causing many, many problems. The homepage itself, oh my God, it is confusing. What are we talking about at these things? Now, I guess this is a different section. And here's another section, got lovely lines there. But what are they? What's the structure? Why? Where does it go? What's on the side here? We've got Jeep, got Kia, so these are brands. But maybe I just want to find a family car for a holiday. What do I choose? Where do I go? There's no logic there. And then we've got on the side here, fun stuff and a car quiz. Why do I have a car quiz? I'm trying to find a family car. About Ling. Okay, about Ling. Oh, hi, I'm Ling. She's got a missile. She's from Chengdu. Great place with pandas. She's married to John. What? Where? Why am I here? Yeah, all these kind of things. So the actual structure and navigation is a bit bat crazy, you know. The order just feels random. The text page, there's lots of text. Just go back to the home page. There, how you do it? there's no audio alternative to this. So if you can't read, then you're going to have trouble. And even worse, if you've got a screen reader, where would you go on this page? There's just so much content that you're going to be really dying. Yeah, it's really hard. The color, it's just an onslaught of color. So much color everywhere that everything is just losing meaning, and it's going to be very overloading, very confusing. So that can cause problems, particularly with autism in various areas. If someone has a cognitive disability, it's going to be very, very difficult. Now, there is a stop button on the video at the top here. I know where it is because I've seen this website so many times, but the first few times viewing the website, I was listening to this song, constantly, and I didn't know where the stop was. It was driving me nuts. I turned my computer sound off. So there's that. So yeah, that's just a very quick bit of the perceivable issues for... There we are. Stop. Stop. Okay, I think we're good. Just proved my point completely by accident. Okay, here I am now in Safari because it's just going to be easier. I believe Chrome and I have got very similar options, what I'm about to show you. So I'm going to Safari, Preferences, and then go to Advanced. There's a little option here saying press tab to highlight each item on a web page. So close it down. And if you look carefully as I press tab, a little underlined piece jumps through. If I press Shift tab, it goes backwards. So those top level navigations are fine. The problem with this is when I tab off the main menu, I start going on to other things on the website. I'm just going down the left-hand side. Now, if I'm trying to get somewhere else on the website, oh my God, I'm just stuck in car hell right now. I can't get over anywhere else. So I'm in what's called a keyboard trap. And if I just hold down tab and zoom all the way through, let's see how far I can get. I'm already bored with this. I've got to go and do the reverse with Shift tab to get all the way back to the home menu or refresh the page. So that's going to be a real mini nightmare just from playing with websites. So backward navigation is very bad. Good thing, no time limits. The website does have a pause play for the main video. But let's look at the top left here. Top left, got Ling with a flashing background. We've got a light flashing on and off. This is not good. We've got flashing zigzags there. This can cause seizures. This is really bad. Not just bad in the whole I don't like it, but bad in the this can cause serious problems bad. There's no skip to content. There's no real car finder either. So I'm not sure where I'm skipping to. Page sections do not have titles. The order feels completely illogical. And, what do links, where do they go? Now, looking around here, I've got an Audi. Okay, I'm going to an Audi A3. What is that? Is this information on the car? Or is it about booking that car? Let's have a click and have a look. Audi A3. Try and get rid of that navigation bar. I'll swipe. And it's leasing deals. It's the car prices. Okay. So I've really got to think about this. More info. Well, what is more info? Let's have a look on that. How many miles per year? How much per month? All that kind of stuff. Okay. It's the kind of thing, once you've learned it, it's okay, but you've got to learn it. It's very poor for everything else. I haven't checked if there's language on the page assigned. You can do that, I believe, with expecting code somewhere around here, but I'm just going to skip that because I'm not a coder. Now zooming. Now look at this. You might think this website is navigatable and it's fine. I'm going to go to View, Zoom. I'm going to zoom in a lot. Right, there we are. Nice big Ling's face. Right, I'm now on tabs. And I'm just stuck on that video. So I'm in a loop. I can't actually get to anyone else on the page. The page is not responsive. It's just not working. So a big fat fail on the zoom part. Let's put it back onto actual size. Okay. Wait, the forms later on. Now I did find that you can order a car. I can be a personal customer. I'm just going to bash out random stuff. It does tell you what's wrong. Not as you're going, but we can forgive that. It's okay. Not test the robust or that's because parsing, coding, and the other parts are just not something which I'm testing for this level. So let's now look at Wave as another way to look at the website. So Ling, we're going back to your website, just the home page. Copy your URL, drop it into Wave. Okay, so the website's had a look through and it's a bit of a nightmare. We've got 2 errors, 106 contrast issues, and 160 other alerts. So let's have a look at the page here. Click on here, you can see that there's very low contrast between the foreground and background. As a contrast issue, as an alert, the text is very small. The good things, the green means alternative text is available. That is actually a very good thing, so we quite like that. But just look through here. Look at all of these errors. I'm not going to look at all of them. There's far too many to do, but I'm going to look at a couple of them. So I'm going to click on the contrast button here and just choose any of the issues, and you'll see that it's picked out. Here's a problem. Actually, it's the top right stop button right there. Now, if I play the slider, actually, I'm going to choose a different one to make it a bit easier. Click on this baby jap there. The contrast is so low that it's failing AA and AAA levels of WCAG 2.1. If I take my slider and just make it go darker, you should see there. It's now passed. And it's updated on the website. I can also take it back to roughly where it was before, maybe all white. I can make the background darker as a way of making the contrast. Let's take another one, this Smarty over there. I can make the background darker and it passes just there. So, or I can, play with make this darker or choose different shades from over here. So there's a whole load of things that I can choose to do and play around with just to find out what would make this actually pass. There we are. Now, is this the best looking thing in the world? No, it's not. But you see, it's a great way to analyze and assess what's wrong with your website. So manual methods are really fantastic, but I also highly recommend the tools such as Waves to understand the accessibility issues of your website.